Hey everybody, it's me, Plarn Dude. I'm gonna make Plarn, and I'm gonna watch videos on YouTube. So I'm on YouTube, watching YouTube. Time to push play.
There was an explosion in Turkey. And so here it is. Turkey blamed the Kurdish militants for an explosion on Sunday that killed 6 people in Istanbul. Turkish police have detained 47 people, including a Syrian woman suspected of planting the bomb.
That's awesome.
So there's a lot to the story, and we're going to do a follow-up on it, but I just want to do this cursory investigation into the story, and then we'll get on an expert who knows more about it. So this guy tweets out and he says, when the Istanbul terrorist explosion that left 20 killed and wounded is carried out by a Syrian woman affiliated with the Syrian Kurds PYD, that's a political party, PYD, that some people say is a terrorist group, that are under the U.S. protection in occupied northeast Syria. So the person that they're blaming for this comes from a group that's in cahoots with the United States.
Uh-oh.
Keep that in mind. It shows how Washington and its allies deal with NATO members. So Turkey's been warming up to Russia. And so now the speculation is that of course, the United States are the world's biggest terrorists. Do you know this? I've told you this.
I do know that.
And now this guy tweets out, Pakistan became closer to Russia. It got hit by a soft coup, and its former leader, Khan, almost got assassinated. Iran became closer to Russia. It got hit by a regime change attempt. Turkey became closer to Russia. It got hit by a terrorist attack. These are not coincidences. So let's watch. This is from Reuters. This is a video report. Just let's watch this and we'll talk about it. Watch this. So
historic and bustling Istiklal Avenue on Sunday. Soylu said the order for the attack was given in Kobani, a city in northern Syria. Turkish forces have carried out operations there against YPG in recent years. 6 Turkish citizens, 2 members each of 3 families, were killed in the attack, and a dozen wounded. In a statement on its website on Monday, the PKK denied involvement in the attack, saying it did not target civilians. Earlier television news reports showed images of a person who appeared to be a woman leaving a package below a raised flower bed in the middle of a busy street. On Monday, shopkeepers like Lokman Kalkan began their clean-up.
It has been a disaster, you see. This is all that happened. People were fighting for their lives. There is nothing we can do.
Ankara says the YPG, which Washington has supported in the conflict in Syria, is a wing of the PKK.
I want to say something. Terrorism is supposedly attacking civilians for the purpose of causing change in the policies or politics or whatever of the targeted country or region or whatever. Terrorism, therefore, would only work, if it works at all, if there is a message being sent alongside the terrorist act. Like, we did this, this is why we did this, we will not stop doing this until such and such and such. What's the message? That's what I want to know. Who did this? Why did they do this? Have not been explained yet, not by Jimmy Dore. He's implying that this terrorist act was performed by someone in cahoots with the United States of America's military-industrial complex, but that hasn't been expressed by our military-industrial complex. Our government hasn't come out and said, we did this and this is why. Who did it and why? That's the only way this terrorism could work, if it works. And I'm not saying that terrorism works. In fact, I think terrorism does not do what the terrorists think it does. It makes people hurt, and it makes people angry. And hurt, angry people tend to do things other than just bow down and do whatever you want. If you stab me and tell me, I'm going to keep stabbing you until you do what I want, I'm going to be like, no. I'm going to die doing absolutely nothing you want me to do. Nothing at all. Because that's how very, very angry and very, very hurt I am over being stabbed. But if you hold a knife to me and say, I'm not stabbing you right now, but I'm going to unless you do what I say, then I'm going to be more likely to go, oh, okay, whatever you want, just don't stab me. If you've already been stabbing me, I'm going to be like, screw it, I'm dead either way. Not going to do what you want. So, you terrorists are stupid. You think that by blowing people up, you'll get what you want, but you're not. You're not going to get what you want. The government for the country is going to find you and stop you and probably kill you, terrorist. Maybe even kill more of the people that you love, if that's the reason you're doing this, to avenge your loved ones. They'll just kill more. Maybe. Especially if it's the United States of America. My country likes to go and do horrible things in retaliation. So if the terrorism is about retaliation, brutal retaliation for something, that's not going to stop the something. It's going to make it worse. If it does anything at all. So, terrorism doesn't help. It doesn't make a bad thing into a good thing. It's just more bad things. More pain, more death, more sorrow, instead of the opposite. So whoever is behind this attack, you need to stop. You need to think. And you need to turn yourself in. Repent, thou sinner. Anyway, back to the show. And more Plarn.
PKK has led an insurgency against the Turkish state since 1984, and more than 40,000 people have been killed in clashes. It is considered a terrorist organization by Turkey, the European Union, and the United States. Turkish authorities link support for the YPG by Washington and others to the blast. Soylu likened the US condolences to the murderer arriving as one of the first at the scene of the crime.
So, in case you missed it, they're saying that this is the United States doing this. Okay, so let's watch now. We're going to hear from a minister, an interior minister from Turkey. Let's listen.
We reject the condolences of the American embassy. We do not accept our alliance with a state that sends money from its own Senate to these groups, feeding the terror zones in Kobani, which aims to disturb Turkey's peace, is a controversial situation. This is open and clear.
So that was a voice of an interpreter, but they're not accepting condolences from the United States. Turkey's our ally. Do you know Turkey's in NATO? And so now it looks like the United States is doing terror attacks inside our allies, other NATO countries, because they cozied up to Russia. That's what it looks like. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm saying that's the speculation. That's what, when that guy says we don't take condolences, Here we go.
Istanbul has been targeted in the past by Kurdish, Islamist, and leftist militants. Sunday's attack sparked concerns that Turkey could be hit with more incidents ahead of tense elections scheduled for June 2023.
So here is, so that we just showed you that guy. Here he is again, the minister. Turkish is in.
I want to say something else. What do you mean leftist militants? What do you consider to be left? How is being militant and blowing people up a left thing? What's left about that? I don't understand that. The left, like myself, want to help people. Am I militant? I don't have a gun. I don't have a great big knife to stab people with. I use my blades for cutting bags. Am I militant because I'm a lefty? What does left militant mean? I don't get it. That doesn't ring true to me. Calling them militant leftists seems to me to be an oxymoron. That doesn't make any sense. Wait, is oxymoron the right word to use? It's contrary, self-contradicting to me. People on the left want government social programs to help people. Social Security is a left idea. Medicare is a left idea. Medicaid is a left idea. Militarism, violence, blowing people up, terrorism is not a left idea. What's left about that? How does that help people? How does blowing somebody up help anybody? Explain that. Nobody can, because it doesn't. And we just accept it. We just allow people to say this stuff without comment. Oh, yeah, it must be leftist militants. Militant leftists. Yep, What? No. If somebody is saying left things, like, we need to help people, while at the same time blowing the crap out of people, innocent people, they are self-contradictory. They are contradicting the very things that they are saying by blowing people up. And that means that what they're really doing is lying. They're not actual leftists. They're liars. They just like killing people. That's it. They want to have an excuse to kill people. And if the country is being run by right-aligned people, conservatives, then these violent people who just want to kill people would outwardly align left against the government, against the people ruling and running things, because those people are the right. So therefore, their opposition must be left. But are they actually left? If the government switched over to being left, would they stop attacking people? Would they stop blowing people up? Let's test the theory. Let's see what happens when everything all of a sudden switches over to the left, and them being opposition to the government and left wouldn't work for them anymore, would it? People wouldn't support them anymore, would they? People wouldn't be like, wait a minute. People would be like, come on, you're not left, you're still attacking people. Because all they really want to do is attack people. All they really want to do is cause destruction, death, sorrow, fear, terror. They get off on it. They're not really leftists. Left-leaning people don't want to blow people up. Stop calling them leftists. They're not leftists. Back to the show.
Interior Minister, and so let's listen. So he says, we know how this event was coordinated. We know where this is coordinated from. We know the message given to us. I will emphasize again, we do not accept the condolences of the American ambassador. We reject them.
Mm-hmm.
So we blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. That's another ally, Germany. We blew up their pipeline. We did an act of terrorism against Germany. We did that. They did a coup in Pakistan. We're doing this to the Turkey people. So anybody who goes against the United States, you get immediately get couped. You get a terrorist attack. You get your pipeline blown up. That's what the United States is doing. I thought we were fighting terrorism. We're the terrorists. What do you think what we did in Iraq is? That's terrorism. We went and killed 1 million people for oil. Same thing in Libya. Same thing in Somalia. Same thing in Syria. We still have troops in Syria stealing their oil. That's what they're there for. Okay, so there's more to this story. I can't wait to see how this develops. But there is the Turkey Interior Minister saying, we know where this came from. We know where this attack was coordinated from. We do not accept the condolences of the American ambassador. We reject them. Okay, that's quite a story. We'll see you November 19th and 20th in Austin, Texas. November 26th, that's the Saturday after Thanksgiving in Burbank. And then all December, we're going to be in Los Angeles doing Friday night shows. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all the tickets and become a premium member. While you're there, you get all of our videos unedited. jimmydore.com. Not Jimmy Dore Comedy.
Why not Jimmy Dore Comedy? What do I watch next? How about YouTube Unsolved?
My piece of the shakaroni, that's the biggest one we make.
They donate $1 from every shakaroni to the Papa John's Foundation.
Dang, that's huge. If the hoop was as big as that pizza, maybe it'd have made some of your fruit though. Somebody say me a slice. Where did it come from?
They said you couldn't buy gifts for everyone. They were wrong.
Save the holidays, only at Five Below.
Hello, yet again. Welcome back to the most disturbing channels on YouTube. Today is episode 3 of this series, and as usual, we're going to be covering 3 of YouTube's absolutely most disturbing channels that just should not exist. Cue intro. I know it's like the 3rd episode, but I'm just now going to say it. I hope that you like that intro that I made specifically for this series. It was never intended to be that big of a series, but since it has some kind of traction now, I'm glad that I actually put a lot of effort into making it look quite epic, if I don't say so myself. As usual, with the 3 channels that I've chosen for today's video, some of them you've probably heard of, and I've also chosen at least 1 or 2 that I specifically think that you have not heard of, actually, just so that we can spice up the variety. So make sure you double check behind you to make sure no one's watching. And with all that being said, let's get into it. The first channel that we have here is called the Unfavorable Semicircle. This channel started uploading a ludicrous amount of videos right after it was created in 2015. This channel uploaded 80,000 total videos in the time that it existed, and it did not exist for all that long at all. This channel actually got suspended only about a couple of months after it was created. But the thing that stands out about this thing, which is much different than other channels that uploaded an absolute ton of videos, like, for example, WebDriver Torso, which was discovered to be run by YouTube itself to test out the quality of their website. The difference here is that there's a whole lot of evidence of this channel in the way it produced videos. Almost once every couple of minutes at its peak for months on end was being done manually. Now, when you start understanding that there's about 80,000 videos, that starts getting a little bit concerning to the person's fingers, just repeatedly uploading 24/7, and their basic health in general. Who was behind this ridiculous crap, and what was the purpose to it? Because when you start looking into the details of all the videos that were on this channel before it got suspended, you could start to see that there's really a lot of eerie factors to them. Each and every single one of them are unique to themselves. They all have their own specific patterns when it comes to their visuals and their audio. Not a single one of them is just the same. And believe me, people looked into it. An almost concerning amount. Like, you should probably be more productive. Okay. Thank you for helping me. So yes, unlike WebDriver Torso, each video wasn't just a bunch of red and blue flashing boxes. They were all very specific. So specific that people started to think that there could possibly be some very intelligent pattern that was intending to be solved. But that was really unfortunate because the channel, pretty much right after people started caring about it, just disappeared because it was deleted. YouTube didn't want anything to do with it, which further separates it from any kind of comparison with WebDriver Torso, a channel that is owned by YouTube in order to produce videos to test YouTube's video player quality, because why would YouTube delete a channel that it owns? Since YouTube probably only has the technology that can produce 80,000 videos automatically, someone must have been doing this manually somehow. And it leads us to believe that they were doing it in a way that made YouTube very suspicious themselves as to what the intentions of this person or organization called the Unfavorable Semicircle was trying to do, so they decided to just remove it under the pretext of spam and unwanted repetitive things or violations. No other things were ever revealed from YouTube about it. Of course, they're always just the most transparent company ever. Now, some videos of the unsemi...
Say goodbye. Say hello.
Do you think your wife can hear you?
No,
Or why bother?
maybe I'm wrong. You're going to die. Maybe not.
Goodbye to you, my trusted friend.
A new day is dawning. New ideas, no rules, no management.
We've known each other since we were
Who is this?
The Marquis de Gramont.
Challenge him to single combat.
Will lose. So way after.
I don't sit at the table.
Your family does.
Please pray for me. I was the black sheep of the family.
Man has to look his best when it's time to get married. Or buried.
I'm going to need God.
Goodbye, my friend, it's hard to
If you win, the table will honor his word. You'll have your freedom.
Under the old laws, only one can survive. Failure to meet at sunrise will result in execution. Last words, Winston.
Just have fun out of it. your peace. But the good death only comes after a good life. You and I left a good life behind a long time ago, my friend.
Ion. Electrify. Hungok tire.
Now, some videos of the name of this channel already. Now, some videos of the unfavorable semicircle were actually able to crash the device of the person watching them. So people would be watching them on their phones, on their browsers, and they would just crash and stop working just by playing the video. Sometimes other things would go wrong, like the video would keep playing even after it went past the bar of completion. It would just infinitely keep playing. But the video didn't repeat, it just kept going. So no one really knew how long certain videos were. Now, out of the 80,000 videos on this channel, you can only imagine the kind of hidden things that were actually just within all of them, considering every single one was different. It's like a procedurally generated video game. Old cartoons have to just recycle the background. They can't just make everything completely different. But this, it wasn't like that. So none of this is really making too much sense. So what am I talking about? Well, it all really comes down to only just 2 videos across the entire 80,000 videos that were on this channel. And those 2 videos were called Lock and D-Lock. And they soon became, within the short life of this channel, the most popular and the most investigative videos across everything else. And that was because lots of things were found when you looked into the details of these 2 videos. They were amongst the longest videos that were ever uploaded. And if you were to take all the pixel orientations of all the fluctuating patterns in the videos and layer them together all in one, you start to get these very specific looking images, which seem to be not accidental. And if you were to take the audio of each video of Lock and D-Lock, you started getting patterns which in spectrograms started looking like it was some kind of solvable puzzle. People were getting so close to trying to figure out what was the whole meaning behind this, because not a single person ever met or found out who was running the channel, or an organization of multiple people, before it just got suspended. YouTube looked into it, and whatever they found with it, they didn't like, so they just deleted it. Now that even adds a whole other layer of suspicion to everything, because that even means that something else, even darker, might be going on involved with the whole thing. Now, was it aliens? Yes. That is what it was. So that is my theory. It was not aliens. Nobody to this day understands what the unfavorable semicircle was, what they were trying to do, so it is very unnerving and unsolved. This next mystery is actually very kind of like not known by that many people, and I found it to be very surprising considering the amount of depth that it actually has when you get into it. Ash Robinson. Ash Robinson was a small YouTube channel which would frequently explore abandoned places and creepy locations that were sometimes thought to be haunted. And there's lots of people who also dedicate their channels to doing all kinds of mysterious activities like that. They just go around Scooby-Dooing all over YouTube, pretty much. And it's similar to the ambition of a previous channel that we just covered in the first video of this series, actually called Snakebit McGee, who was pressured into exploring a location in real life by his audience who really wanted him to find it, which was a location that just happened to be a cave in the shape of an M. Similar to that, Ash Robinson was personally pressured into exploring a very specific location that she was promised by an anonymous user who messaged her through email would be one of the best and most scary abandoned haunted places she would ever have the privilege to make a video about. The anonymous person also said that not many people knew about this, therefore no one was really making any videos on it except her if she were to do it, and therefore it would be the perfect viral video type of opportunity. Now, she shared this message that she received from this person, of which the name of the person was, of course, never revealed, and lots of her small audience instantaneously influenced her to go through with it because they wanted to see what it was. It was super cool, and they wanted to actually figure out whether or not this place was really going to live up to the hype that was apparently brought out by this one person. But just like the Snakebit McGee situation, the person running Snakebit McGee channel, Kenny Lee Beach, there were lots of people telling him to, in fact, not go to this cave. There was lots of suspicious things or lots of red flags about it that really indicated that no one should be going there for whatever reason. One person specifically said that that you will actually be in danger if you go there. Same thing with Ash Robinson. A very few amount of people out of the multiple that the majority that wanted her to go were warning her, don't do that. It's pretty dangerous. Lots of things could go wrong. You don't know this person. It could be a trap. It could be anything. But unfortunately, she just went through with doing it anyways. Despite everything of what the skeptics were saying to her, she of course just wanted the best produced content in the best locations that she could put on her small channel, which didn't even have 1,000 subscribers at the time. And this location was also not even near a city like all the rest of the locations she went to usually was. Which was also kind of a red flag, because lots of abandoned locations are still close to civilization. This place, according to what she had said in her video blog talking about how she wanted to do this, was that this place was so far away from anything that she thought that there was no one even living there. And in the videos leading up to this situation, her vlogs became more and more anxious as they got posted more and more often. And at the very end, 3 videos were produced in a single day right after the channel's name was changed. No longer Ash Robinson. Of course, right before things started to go south, Ash Robinson's channel looked like a normal channel. But now the first video leading up to this, which was also back in 2015, investigating the old cistern, the most haunted location yet. Now this video was also particularly long for her average video, and I'll have a whole entire YouTube installed about the actual details of what the videos on her channels, especially this last video, showed. I'm not going to get into the actual footage in today's segment because we're abbreviating every channel, but we have actually a whole lot of downloaded videos from this channel when people saw it when they first came out. So we're going to be looking into the actual details of the situation. But basically, to narrow it all down, Ash Robinson was never heard of again. After this video, she was never seen. She never uploaded another video. Supposedly, she had never uploaded a video herself to her own YouTube channel. No one ever heard of her. She never posted on social media because the very next video right after that was posted on the exact same day. And it was called MVI 2015-112. Now, we don't have any actual literal recordings of this video, but we do have screenshots. And it was basically a depiction of a struggle taking place in what looked like a van. There's only a couple screenshots for the first video, which was 2015-112, but the second video was arguably even worse. MVI 2015-112-1, which was clearly uploaded straight off some hard drive and not the same style that Ash Robinson would do at all, ever. And it showed what looked like a dark room, kind of, with a tied-up person.
All we do to act on climate change is like watching our kids grow up.
No. YouTube, stop showing me ads pushing the complete bunkum that is man-caused global warming, which they like to call climate change. The climate has not changed in over 20 years. There are people alive today for whom climate has not changed in their entire life. Adults alive right now for whom the climate of the planet has not changed in their entire lives. And yet their entire lives, they've gotten all of this fear-mongering pumped into their brains. Oh no, we have to protect future generations from this. From what? The Earth's temperature has not changed 1 degree in over 20 years. Every time there's a storm during winter, they go, "Oh no, climate change!" Storms happen every year. Or during the summer, when it gets hot, they go, "Oh no, climate change! It's hot during summer. It's supposed to be hot during summer." If the planet really were heating up too much, then the temperature here in Arizona, where I live, in Mesa, Arizona, would have gone from the usual 90s and 100s and such during summer to like frickin' 250 degrees by now. In my lifetime, it would have gone up and 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 up to where people just literally just walk outside and go dead. Stop with the nonsense. Stop it! Alright, back to the video. Oh, the video is over already, so there's no more.
Hello, yet again. Welcome back to the most disturbing channels on
Oh,
YouTube.
never mind.
Today is episode 3 of this series, and as usual, we're going to be covering 3 of YouTube's absolutely most disturbing channels that just should not
Wait,
exist.
why is this?
Cue intro.
Huh? It started over again. I feel very confused now. I was watching this video, and then they put up the stupid ad.
Introducing Wells Fargo Premier. Banking, lending, and investing designed around you.
Okay, whatever, Wells Fargo.
Spoilers ruin the finale.
You picked her?
Watch your favorite shows the night they air for free with an antenna.
Not acting like a normal
How many
person.
people have
And this
antennas?
is not like a situation with Ash Robinson where everything seemed normal up until one point where everything just disappeared and turned into a weird, kidnapping, horrible situation. Now, this was a slow build-up of time where people started to realize that this person was starting to either lose her mind or show signs of being kidnapped. Again, like there were serious indications that there was someone behind the camera ordering her to do stuff and act in a certain way, and that she was actually scared of this person, acting really very nervous and anxious in between cutscenes. And the editing suggested that she really wasn't in control of the situation, and this kept getting worse and worse until one day she just made the last video on her channel and dropped off the internet, never to be seen again. There's just so many things that I don't understand about this. First of all, ASMR food, I'm sorry, but I'll never understand what makes you people like that, but if you do, then you do you. Now, you couldn't just easily dismiss this as a stunt, again, because she never returned. Not in some redemption arc like Marina Joyce or what have you. She never, ever came back. There are real signs of distress that was going on with this content creator that was basically very genuine, seeming that really was not comparable to any other similar situation that's ever happened up to that point. But there still was no concrete evidence of this, unlike the last channel that we discussed. Kate Yup indeed demonstrated behavior that could be psychologically identified by a psychological lawyer person as being very much evidence of something being wrong, or perhaps being
Psychological lawyer
in a distressed
person.
situation
What?
involving being a hostage of someone.
I
So
don't think
because of
that's
that,
right.
it's not unreasonable to assume that definitely something might have been happening in the personal life of Kate Yup that eventually led up to the entire channel's abandonment for all of these years up until now. We can only hope that whatever the cause was not actually sinister. And there's lots of more details on the reasons why the situation involving Kate Yup was just actually a little bit more eerie than what I can go into in full detail here. So I would recommend you to, if you were to be more interested in this, to look it up yourself and find lots of dedicated videos made by a whole bunch of other talented Scooby-Doo type people on this website who like investigating the same type of thing as me, and go look into it for yourself and come to your own conclusion. But as for today's episode of the most disturbing channels on YouTube that should not exist, those are the 3 channels that we will be covering. I hope you found those to be enjoyable. I'm basically going to be scarred now as I continue to torture myself in making these ridiculously disturbing episodes of everything being scary. But I'm just kidding. I enjoy making them, and I know you like it too, so you better leave a like on this video, otherwise you will miss out on 10 years of good luck, and a monster will get you in your sleep. Just saying. YouTube Unsolved,
Monsters
the
get me in
official
my
series
sleep
of this
all the
channel,
time.
not this spin-off series, will be returning at the end of this month, so be prepared for that. The Spook Fest will return soon. And until then, I'll see you in the next episode.
Ow!
Goodbye.
Ow! Ow! Thank you, Inverness. That was scary. Delving into YouTube's sinister underground crime. Okay.
Oh, but you can get 50% off on menu price Domino's pizzas when you order online right now.
Pizza.
Right now. Right now?
Right now? Right now. 50% off, honey, right now! Now through the end of the week, get 50% off on menu price pizzas when you order online at Domino's.
Make more good in the Kia Sportage Expert. Kia, movement that inspires.
For those of you who have stuck with this series for the longest amount of time, you definitely know that there's a lot of strange things that happen on YouTube, but there seems to be at least one missing link in all of them that can actually reveal an answer as to why exactly this website is the way it is. And perhaps even one large scheme underneath the skin of it that has been going without attention up to this point. So grab your popcorn with extra butter, because we may have just uncovered the most sinister secret of all of YouTube. Let's start at the beginning. Not too far back, but one of the main inspirations for YouTube Unsolved. We're going to be covering this in multiple sections to fully paint the picture in the most accurate light possible. There is quite a lot of information here, and just like all Unsolved episodes, our main idea is to get to the bottom of it, objectively, each time. So with that being said, we're going to start with the experience of Derek G. Derek G. was someone who ran a YouTube channel called Super Saiyan Investigations, where they would actively search for some of the surface web's darkest corners and secrets. Super Saiyan made a video in March of 2020, claiming to have found something truly startling about YouTube as a whole. A simple exploit involving a hashtag by searching for hashtag anywhere, even on YouTube Kids. A very disturbing trend would present itself. Videos with the hashtag in the title or description all shared one common feature. They were content of graphic crimes ranging from IRL robberies, torture, to even terrorism. Uploaded by varieties of different default channels, most having only one video. It almost seemed like there was a planned organization of people using the specific hashtag to post these videos. It was only after Super Saiyan's videos started to gain traction was his relatively small channel terminated for violating terms because of a complaint. Reaching out to YouTube on the matter only further made things more vague, and the loss of a 1K sub channel surely was regrettable and confusing. But if anything, It cracked into one of the darkest flaws in YouTube that surely is being used by not the most friendly of people, only separated from you by a search bar. Now we're going to look into some of the examples of those who were a bit more unfortunate than just lose their channel, but in fact, almost lose their life due to it. Enter Christo60. This account is not the result of making videos, but simply watching and commenting. Learning to program. Christo60 was a fluent video watcher of the subject. He would often find himself watching videos teaching him the basics of small things, and teaching himself the larger aspects. Whenever actually having a problem, often seeking advice through the comment sections. One of these times, to say the least, wasn't all that usual. Now, we don't often break the fourth wall here on YouTube Unsolved, but today, I think I'll make an exception. Christo60 has been with us before, but that doesn't take away from the significance of their story. The video he found himself on was of little to no help, so he did what he was used to. He left a comment in the empty comment section below it, only to have his comment replied to almost instantly by another default profile picture YouTube user, directing him to an external site, and it just went from there. It was on this site where Christo60 would find a whole bunch of forum posts in a very retro-looking style. He didn't think anything of it, as he was used to the same type of visual site that he would see going around hacking forums, asking similar questions online. So he proceeded to ask his question. His question was not interacted with or answered by anyone else, and the only person to have contacted him through this site simply relayed his real name to him and told him that his only mistake was visiting the site to begin with. Christo60, in his own confusion, didn't really know how to react, other than to leave the site and thinking nothing of it after that.
Scary.
Electrified. Hungo tire.
Christo60 would later have his house broken into in the middle of the night while he was sleeping, only to have an unknown man emerge from his closet and walk out of his door.
Well, that can't happen to
After
me.
the police had shown
I ain't
up,
got no
they
closet.
did a thorough investigation on the interior of his house, and inside the closet that he saw the perpetrator walk out of. Nothing was found until the wall of the closet revealed writing illustrating the exact solution to the problem that Christo60 was having in terms of his coding. It wasn't until long after the events of Christo60's experience that, with the help of other YouTube Unsolved part-time researchers, we were able to actually find the original video that was involved with Christo60's terrifying life story. The first thing that we can notice about it is the fact that it has the same hashtag keyword as the first layer of its description, right before a seemingly normal explanation of the video. This can definitely mean that this video was still somehow under the influence of the hashtag with multiple periods and underscores, for whatever that's supposed to even mean, which can imply that there is something very specifically that has to do with this hashtag, or maybe even any hashtag or keyword with similar phrasing. And it seems that the spiral just keeps getting darker from here. Gusto60 was able to move on with his life and continue the pursuit of becoming a white hat hacker, even more motivated after his experience to hopefully prevent someone else from having to go through what he did. The same happy outcome can't exactly be said about our next example, which is an actual YouTube staff member. I think it should be worth noting that at this point, we know that something fishy is going on here. The fact that a single hashtag of metadata can be linked to two of these very egregious examples of horrible experiences just involving YouTube itself. And now we're moving on to the perspective of someone who actually used to work for YouTube at one time. This is the example of Thorb. Thorb was an immigrant to America and got a job as a YouTube employee, more specifically working as a product reviewer. Eventually, he was transferred from the more Google side of the workforce to YouTube, since it was at that time a shortage of video reviewers and moderators due to the specific events that were happening. Essentially, the role that was given was going through a list of reported videos that they were tasked with for a particular day. So they had hundreds of these claims to go through and look over all the guidelines to essentially know whether to press the guilty or innocent button. Usually, it was not a hard decision for Thorpe to make. But one of these times, it was significantly different. It was one of the discussion boards which would call into question an entire channel to be reviewed. In this case, it was a channel by the name of Hell's Gate. This was the end of the day right before the weekend, so Thorpe decided to take a quick action on this channel and delete it, due to the obvious, probable cause of violations of the terms of service, and then Thorpe concluded his day and went home, only to be informed soon after that the colleague of which he was using his computer to do work on had their house completely broken into and robbed, causing the two to have to stay together. This is when the chain of events that led to the undoing of Thorpe's entire life started to take place. From experiencing stalker activity, basically around anywhere where they would go, to having their possessions stolen straight out of their apartment, to the point where they were actually broken into as well. It came down to an event where the colleague of Thorpe, which we codenamed Jarl in this case, was taken away by the police for suspected illegal activity that they were doing on the internet. It was at this point that now Thorpe no longer had a single friend or contact in the country that he was now living in, and he still had his job as a YouTube reviewer. He left one of the nights after working a long shift to see that his tires were slashed, only to then arrive back at his house and see that the door to his own apartment was slightly cracked open. The police were then called, only to find someone in the apartment of Thorpe and take them away. Thorpe then quickly resigning from his job at YouTube soon after. The original Hell's Gate videos that were posted on the Hell's Gate channel, however, have been known to have been reposted on YouTube in certain places, with the replaced titles being just pure punctuation back to square one. We need more information on why exactly it is that this particular metadata, including that of putting it into hashtag form, seems to attract all kinds of violent and even criminal activity. Even the basic search of YouTube, using a combination of characters and punctuation marks, leads to a rabbit hole that I would particularly not want to go down right before my bedtime, to say the least. And this is just the surface of it. Of course, we have many other life-threatening encounters and first-hand experiences that have in some way or another a connection to this. All stemming from just being a normal, average consumer of YouTube. So the simplest approach to get them is by contacting YouTube directly. So I did. Contacting YouTube directly through their creator support, I was able to ask a pretty straightforward question about the entire issue at hand, as to how criminal activity could be actually linked through their website just by a simple hashtag. and similar punctuation key phrases, seemingly allowing any form of video, no matter what, to evade detection from YouTube's entire algorithm, review system, and even the innocent eyes of people using YouTube Kids. I then referred them to the first-hand experiences that we covered in this video so far as well, and then finished off by specifically asking about the experiences shared by YouTube's ex-employee Thorbjorn, or Thorb, as it is indeed the most important piece of this puzzle so far that we have. The response that I got was puzzling, as an understatement. I'm unaware of anything unusual involving the hashtag and/or any other search term you mentioned. I have no knowledge of any of the incidents in question either, nor have we ever had an employee by the name working with us. Have a great day.
What?
So apparently, according to YouTube themselves, they never had an employee named Thorbjorn, or Thorb for short, or any variation of Thorb for that matter. This heavily implies that Thorb's original statement was entirely fabricated, which could throw out the entire theory behind this. Even from an objective viewpoint, it's definitely on the table of possibilities. However, from the multiple testimonies that backed up this incident, including Brandon, the original reporter of the Hell's Gate YouTube channel, of which YouTube didn't even comment on in their response email, stated that they did directly come in contact with some YouTube employee going by the exact username that Thorb was using at the time, which was through his colleague's account. So unless the two could have just coincidentally known that exact information at the same time, despite living across an entire country from each other, something doesn't seem to be adding up. But I feel that the real nail in the coffin for this entire option is presented to us in plain daylight. Just through looking at the public employee directory of companies, we can come to see that, indeed, we do have a Thorbjorn listed directly under Google LLC as of a capture of 2018, directly falling in line with the time frames and every other detail, except for the location, which I feel like could be an easy error in the system. But I digress. Could there have been, by chance, another employee working under Google LLC in the category of content strategy by the name of Thorbjorn in the exact time frame and not be our guy? Of course it is possible. But something tells me that that's not the case. So, it appears that YouTube is trying to cover up something, which certainly isn't a good look in this context. I mean, by the looks of it, there's an entire underground market of videos circulating just around their website, completely scathed from the public eye, and also providing a usable outlet for obvious criminal activity to take place, putting the very viewers that happen to be misfortunate enough to stumble upon it in harm's way. This, of course, not even being limited from YouTube Kids either. So it seems like sometimes, in order to get the most accurate answers, you have to quite literally search outside the box on a whole different website. Reddit, to date, has not failed us yet. In late 2020, a user went on Reddit and started a thread regarding this exact YouTube phenomenon. The post had tagged the original video by Super Saiyan Investigations, and even though the video along with the entire channel was deleted as mentioned in the beginning, it was still included in this message on r/YouTube. Later on in that same subreddit, we had a very pleasant surprise. It appeared that Super Saiyan themselves was finally back, and they were prepared and ready to share their 2 cents on the matter once again. And they did so with the following post. So yeah, If you couldn't already figure it out, my whole channel got terminated. And for what? Providing YouTube with the help or the knowledge that something serious was going on underground their platform? And for what complaint? Never have I ever been given such a slap in the face so as to almost have, if anything, given me motivation to figure out the shit behind this once and for all. For all intents and purposes, I may not make any more videos. I have been snuffed out of existence, but either way, the amount of info I've gained since my original video got taken down has expanded tenfold since, and I'm more prepared to release it all in the coming future, one way or another. But for interest's sake, here's a quick summary. Right after my video takedown, I got a secondary request from some unnamed sender to never speak of this matter again. Here's the mail in its entirety. John Doe suggests that if I ever talked about the subject, I would lose more than a channel. So here we go anyway. There's nothing that makes me believe that this is all YouTube's doing, which is what draws the conclusion of something far worse. Through various experiences I've had learning of the deep web, exploring onion sites and communities, and even making acquaintances along the way, I've discovered that, in fact, over the years, YouTube has become a sort of a makeshift cloud-based hard drive that the folks using the dark net have shifted to instead, in order to store hundreds of gigabytes of their own content. They do this due to increasing regulations, making onion hosting, especially with illegal activity, challenging. How does this go unseen? Simple. YouTube's algorithm it cannot scan, categorize, or flag videos with metadata not including common letters or words. You can upload anything with this format and never have it be detected through the surface engine of YouTube. So some phrases are particularly used as almost code language by those using YouTube for this reason. The deep web is filtered onto YouTube almost like an underground railway. And what happens to people who stumble into the wrong corner of it? I think you can guess. And just like that, we have a whole lot more information, which is not always the best thing in hindsight. In the large scale of things, the larger a puzzle is, the more time it takes to complete. It doesn't look like we're going to fully be able to put together this puzzle, but we're going to be able to get at least a very solid image of it. So not only do we have the original person who started it all finally back, but they are back with quite a red pill to swallow. As they explained, they were emailed by an anonymous sender to essentially never ever speak about what they were trying to speak about on YouTube again. Of course, this sender was not YouTube, so therefore we can only heavily imply that this was not in any way connected to anyone with power on YouTube, but somehow still connected to the reason behind the termination of Super Saiyan's YouTube channel. So either someone anonymous who doesn't want to reveal themselves for various reasons has the power, either through or not through YouTube, to remove any information about this specific thing, as long as the source is not publicized enough, or at least before it becomes too popular. So please like this video and share it with your friends as soon as possible. Thanks. And now what we also know is how incomprehensible jarbles of nothing, language that consists of plain punctuation, is directly and intelligently used by people to, so to speak, store their nefarious forms of content, almost as a digital underground railway system between the two sides of the internet, the dark and the light. YouTube being the middleman in this case, providing a slippage within their algorithm of detection through their inability to have their robots crawling their website to be able to detect metadata that simply does not have language in the title, thumbnails, or descriptions. And also, we do now know that because of this, we have the same people that seem to be involved with the production of these videos naturally gravitating around the sources of these keywords in videos that include them in their descriptions, tags, titles, whether intentionally or even unintentionally. Which means potentially any viewer of any video that just might have one specific arrangement of symbols in the description just for random reasons. Very well may be a target of random users using these keywords to circulate very illegal things. Some of which, as mentioned as experiences in the beginning of this video, ending up in life-threatening conditions and situations. Now, it is something that's important to note that YouTube has been apparently making major changes and implementing certain things within their system to, at the very least, cover up or make it harder to find this underground parallel universe within their own site. It's no longer as readily available to type in random characters in the search results and get suggestions that leads down the rabbit hole of horribleness. And due to the very sus behavior that they demonstrated upon replying to my simple message, it could be concluded that they certainly have something that they think just might be worth hiding. Being the absolute largest social media platform in the world, YouTube obviously has quite a bit to protect. It would be understandable as the knowledge of something as catastrophic as a whole half of their entire website being secretly used to do things like this, leaking out to all of the potential business and the advertisements, just may not end that well. Maybe for the betterment of us all, this entire issue would be simply dissipated into nothing as they remove the ability to find these videos through the search engine and through improvements of the algorithm. But that won't negate the things that have already happened and the people involved with this whole operation seemingly taking any extent to stop anyone from getting in their way. Nowadays, even the deep web is very much regulated. What could possibly be a better alternative than a place that no one would ever think of searching? But yet billions of people use to search on a daily basis. Well, that's YouTube. And it's one search away. As a final note, I did reach out to my old contact of a YouTube employee who is still a YouTube employee by the name of Phil. For various reasons, Phil declined to comment on any of this, but was able to express the fact that even in his specific market of work for YouTube, which is content and channel management, he was aware of the knowledge that YouTube was actively making improvements to make it almost impossible to use these various keywords and random punctuation gibberish. However, in the meantime, I don't think the true answer is ever going to fully see the light of day, as it's always going to be locked away deep in the farthest reaches of YouTube. Thanks for watching this video, and stay safe, of course. This has been YouTube Unsolved.
That sounded like so much like the Twilight Zone. Deep in the darkest regions of the Twilight Zone.
Want spicy? Follow Toongans. When bacon poblano breakfast croissant spice up morning, that gravy.
Spicy.
That is one weird ad. AM PM. That's just weird.
Right now, but you can get 50% off all menu price Domino's pizzas when you order online right now. Right now?
Right now.
Pizza.
Right now? Right now. 50% off, honey, right now. Now through the end of the week, get 50% off all menu price pizzas when you order online at Domino's.
All pizzas. Man, I'm so sad I have no money. I don't like being broke. What to watch next, huh? How about more YouTube Unsolved? Or maybe more Jimmy Dore. Or maybe it's time to finish making Plarn and go lay down because I'm in chronic pain. If you haven't noticed, what's causing pain? My coccyx. You know what that is? My tailbone hurts. I sit here feeling just fine, and then all of a sudden, the most horrible pain goes shooting up my spine from my tailbone. And oh, that is some serious pain. And then it stops, and I'm fine. I can't work at a job in my condition because of this kind of thing. I'll be sitting there talking on the phone with somebody, and then go, trying not to scream. The last time I had a terrible pain while talking to somebody on the phone was when I was doing survey calling, and I was talking to somebody trying to do a survey. I was trying to get a survey done. And all of a sudden, my chest hurt really, really bad. Like somebody had just come up to me and said, "Hey, hi there. This is a knife. I'm going to stab you in the chest with it now." And I was like, "No, please don't do that. Please." Ah! Oh, it hurt bad. And I scooted my chair away from my desk. I took the headphone off my head and threw it. I was like, ah! And I told my boss I have to go. I'm in too much pain. And he says, "Are you sure you don't need an ambulance?" And I was like, "No, this happens once in a while. Really bad chest pain. And I just need to lay down. And there's no way to lay down at work." So I went, got in my car, drove myself home, occasionally holding my chest because it was still hurting. Managed to get home without crashing. Went into the house, stumbled to my bed, and passed out in agony. A few hours later, I woke up not feeling too good at all, but at least the horrible pain had subsided a bit. What was that? According to my cardiologist, it's how does he explain it? A inflammation of the chest wall that is like pinched nerve or something in my chest, right where my heart is. And he said that the inflammation in my chest wall at that specific point, right there, was caused by stress. And that I had to stop whatever was causing the stress. Well, the job I was working at was incredibly stressful. And I was working 2 jobs at the time. That was stressful. 2 stressful jobs. Almost no time at all for sleep. Definitely no time for any kind of fun or relaxation. I had a short period of time between jobs for eating food and sleeping a little bit. And then more work. Never getting a day off. Not one! It was work. Never a whole entire day of no work. And then I just completely lost it at one job, the survey job. I made a phone call to talk to somebody on, according to the list of phone numbers. And the guy picked up, I said, "Hello, this is Aaron, and I'm calling to do a survey." And he cussed me out and slammed the phone. And I cussed him out, even though he was no longer on the phone. But my boss was listening on the phone. And that's what got me fired. Don't cuss on the phone. Okay? Oh well. Stressful job, gone. Then my second job, I was a security guard. And somebody took the golf cart that I use every night for my job. I drive it around and make sure everything's locked up like it's supposed to be. Make sure that nobody's stealing any cars, that kind of thing. Somebody had taken the golf cart and driven it off while it was still plugged in to its charger. Tore the charging cable out of the charger, destroying any way of charging the cart. They didn't care. They kept driving the cart until it died, and then there was no way to charge the cart. And my boss was very angry about it and blamed everybody for it, and punished everybody for it, including me. It was like, nope, since there's no way to charge the cart, you have to walk. I was already disabled at the point that he told me that. And I was pissed the hell off. Oh, I cussed up a storm. I said, no, I quit. I'm gone. Bye-bye. Because people have done that to me before, and I'm not taking it. Since losing that job, I became more disabled, less able to work, less able to do anything. I am on a downhill slope of my physical condition. It's not improving. I'm going to physical therapy, and that's helping me improve a little bit, but it's basically just kind of halting the downward slope instead of letting me continue to plummet. It's not what I need. I need to start going back up again. And speaking of which, I haven't done my daily homework exercises, and I should. So I should just put away the Plarn stuff and do my exercises and go lay down and stuff. By the way, I think my house is haunted. I think that there's a ghost or two in the house, or that just come visit the house once in a while and mess around. I don't know why. Are they angry, or are they just messing around? Just trolling. You mad? Ghosty woasty troll. Maybe. I don't know. Or are they evil, monstrous, demonic creatures that just get off on messing with people? Maybe that's what demons are. They're just trolls of a spiritual kind. Where did I put it? Ah, there it is. Yeah. I have been diagnosed recently with diabetes type 2, in case you didn't know already. My doctor said it's early onset diabetes type 2. And I'm supposed to reduce the sugar I'm consuming, reduce the carbs I'm consuming, even though I love carbs and sugar. Oh, yummy, yummy. In addition to eating a low sodium diet. And I'm supposed to take metformin every day and keep track of my blood glucose. So that's something to do. I'm also supposed to keep track of my blood pressure. Blood pressure machines don't like me for some reason. They keep giving me errors. Don't understand that. It takes a really long time to make Plarn out of all the bags that people give me, and I have lots of bags to get through. Lots and lots of bags. I do appreciate the bags people give me. It lets me make Plarn, and I love making Plarn. After I make Plarn, I use it to make sleeping mats for the homeless. Sleeping mats for the homeless, homeless, sleeping mats for the homeless, homeless. Sleeping mats for the homeless, sleeping mats for the homeless, sleeping mats for the homeless. Sleeping mats for the homeless. Okay then. That is one completed Plarn cake. See, it's got a little kind of a hole in the middle that I could pull from. I pull the Plarn out from the middle while I'm making a mat. See? And it just sits. It doesn't roll around while I'm using it. That's why I like making Plarn cakes instead of big round balls. Just sits there. Not moving. See? It won't roll. Just sits there. Got kind of a flat bottom, see? So that's what I like doing. Making Plarn and turning that into sleeping mats. Okay. I need to check my blood pressure. 135 over 80. 93 pulse. 135 over 80. 135 over 80. Where is it? One three five over 80. 135 over 80. What's going on? 135, 80, 93 pulse. No, stop it. 93 pulse. Yeah, that's before dinner. I haven't eaten dinner yet. Save that. Okay. That seems alright, I guess. I don't know. Now I need to change this out for my blood glucose monitor. So you plug this little dongle thingy into my phone from Dario. Strange noises from outside. Taking the test strip out. Hello. Test strip in. Arm the lancet, little needle thingy. Put my finger ready and poke. Got myself a blood drop. Loads of blood drop. Measuring. Blood. 183. I'm calling that pre-meal because I haven't eaten dinner yet. I'm putting trash in that for now. Hi, stage 2. Yep. That's a high measurement. That's what that is. And put that back in. It's all nice and compact. And of course, my watch is going to tell me that my oxygen is at around 99% or so. It's good to have oxygen in your blood. It helps. %. So, not exactly a low number. It's a pretty good number for oxygen. Oh. Ow. Is it time to go? I think it's time to go. Bye-bye. End stream.